नमस्ते। आज मैं लेके आई हूँ डॉक्टर सौम्या लंका को, जो कि सेक्सुअल हेल्थ एंड फैमिली प्लानिंग में है। शी इज़ इन यूके एज अ डॉक्टर सिंस 2003, इंडिया से हैं। तो आज हम इनका थोड़ा सा दिमाग पिक करेंगे अबाउट मेनोपॉज। मेनोपॉज वो सब्जेक्ट जिसके बारे में इंडियन लोग बात ही नहीं करना चाहते हैं। मैं चाहती हूँ कि ये वीडियो मेन, वुमेन, all should watch, because men as a supporting to us and women as normal.
Yeah.
So Soumya, welcome to the sunny side up. So tell me a little bit about yourself first. मैंने छोटी सी इंट्रोडक्शन देने की कोशिश की है, तो आप बताइए अपने बारे में थोड़ा.
So I am a GP with a special interest in women's health, basically. So I do a lot of family planning, menopause, and we have a clinic in Chelmsford, जो Southeast London में है. So we're based in Chelmsford. So वहाँ पे we see a lot of menopause clients privately. So, but I also work for NHS and वहाँ पर भी menopause करती हूँ. And so this is what I think most of the Asians need to know what menopause is, and I think you're doing a very good job there, Sneh, just to get that out.
Thank you Soumya. So मेनोपॉज जो है वो रफली कौन सी एज से स्टार्ट होना शुरू हो जाता है? रफ.
So it's like menopause jo hai, it's not just menopause. There is something called as a perimenopausal period. This is what people need to understand, because menopause is a name given after you've finished your periods. So the journey towards that menopause is called as perimenopause. Okay. So during this, this is the most important way to recognize when you're going through the perimenopause. And ये जो है 35 years से start होके, it can go on till 50 basically. After that, most of them, the average UK women, they go to 51. So जो हमारे Indians को है, so you always try and follow a cycle from your parents. So it's like your mother, your sister, when they go through, usually you tend to follow that kind of cycle basically. So ये 35 से शुरू होके it can go on for a long time. And lots of people say, so most of the common symptoms are, again, hot flushes. There might be dryness down below. You might suddenly feel like mood swings, and you could have hair fall. Brain fog is one of the most important things which people think, kya ho raha hai, main sab kuch bhul rahi hu, and you can't register things in your brain. And again, loss of
Getting
libido.
irritated, shouting at your partner, पंखा बंद
Yes,
करना, पंखा ऑन करना, स्वेटर पहनना, स्वेटर फेंक देना.
100% that is exactly what happens. Magar jo hai, you don't want to kind of base everything on perimenopause symptoms, because you need to have some blood tests. If it starts earlier than 45, we would always do some blood tests to rule out jo hai thyroid ki wajah se hai ki, is it because of any other blood, might be a borderline diabetes status. All of these needs to be checked before you say, okay, it's just perimenopause. So this is something we do if they have these symptoms before the age of 45. So uske baad jo aata hai, we always base it on the symptoms, but we still do the blood tests.
And mine started in mid 40s, and my mother, my sister, they all used to say, "Oh, you started very early," and mine was for a long time, 10 years, literally 10. Perimenopausal test was done in early 40s for me, because I used to have a different feelings and strange things. So my GP said, "Oh, let's do perimenopausal," and I was perimenopausal because I was not expecting. I heard कि 50s में होता है, तो मैं expect नहीं कर रही थी. But then my official started in mid 40s. एंड 10 साल, पूरा 10 साल लेके गया है मेरा मेनोपॉज, starting from 28 day to 27 day to 26 day to 25 day. And then I went till mid 50s, and it totally stopped. Then somehow I met someone, and then I don't know what happened to my hormones. After 6 months, I had again my menstruation full for 6 months, proper period every 6 months, which was very strange. I couldn't understand my body that point in time, and I was too too afraid to talk to my GP as well. So I thought सौम्या को लेके आओ यहाँ पे जो बात करे यार खुली इस बात के ऊपर से बताओ कि ये जो इतना एवरीवन गोज थ्रू 10 ईयर 12 इयर्स पीरियड और कि मेरा ही लंबा गया.
नहीं. As I told you, वो जो perimenopause period है, it can go on to 15 years as well if you think about it. So your periods might be normal, but then the symptoms is what tells us that you're going through perimenopause, and you have to do some blood tests as well. So in your case, remember the ovary जो होता है, it doesn't, completely shut down immediately. So it still produces the remaining bits of estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. So ovary, they secrete all the three hormones, okay? So, and the adrenals above it. So they have a little bit of what they do. So वो जो estrogen होता है, you'll have surge of estrogen progesterone, production basically. So for 6 months, maybe there was nothing at all, and suddenly your weight changes during that period, and the peripheral fat jo hota hai, it can convert to estrogen as well. So in case of people who are slightly obese, they can produce more estrogens because the peripheral fat can get converted to that. So when you have this surge of hormones up and down, your periods change. So after 6 months, you can suddenly have a surge again. But that needs to be investigated with an ultrasound scan just to make sure there's nothing else onto it, just like hypertrophic, endometrial thickness. If it's more bigger, you have to rule out something which is sinister as well.
Okay.
So the investigations as well. But one thing is you have to consult your GP as quickly as you can if you don't know what's happening with your periods or if these symptoms are bothering you.
I think we Indian women are guilty. Even India or chai UK, chai Canada, we are guilty of going to our GP to talk about these issues because think, "Are yaar, kaise baat karu?" Like I think the younger generation, maybe my age women are guilty, but I think a younger generation is better than us possibly to say कि नहीं हमें GP पे जाना चाहिए. We were a bit reluctant. हमारे टाइम पे तो even menstruation periods भी hush hush हुआ करते थे. So it's a part of life. So does a lot of people take over the counter help for that time, for hormone balances, and then they take the patches and all that. But I was not given any because for my son I took 6 years of IVF treatment. So my GP said, you had enough of hormones in your body. We do not want to give you anything. You better suffer.
Really not right, because your body, my oldest patient is 75 having HRT still. Okay, you can go however long your body needs it. So just side effects hote hai, you have to make sure that the patient is actually suitable. So the history makes a big difference basically. So if you don't have any breast cancer in the family or in yourself, or DVT or blood clots, migraines, if you're not smoking, these are the main common, contraindications to go on to it. So if you don't have any of the symptoms, your body needs it, definitely. Some people go too early. And if it doesn't bother them, then, you can be without any hormones. Magar jo hormones affect hair, you do need them because nobody would like to have thinning of the hair, sagging skin, or loss of libido, or hot flushes. They're quite incapacitated. You do need to have those hormones when it's needed, basically. And osteoporosis sometimes is very important to prevent as well. To uski family history hai, to usko bhi take it into mind, basically.
Right. So women should any changes to their body going through that perimenopausal and menopause, they must consult their doctor. They should not just sit at home and say कि मम्मी ने ये बोला या दादी ने ये बोला या नानी ने ये बोला कि ये ले लो. We should actually seek medical help.
Because over the counter जो medicines आपने बोला था, nobody studies about plant estrogens. Okay, so it's not like we don't know how much is the maximum dose, what's the side effects of it. वो सब हमको मालूम नहीं है. So at least, if we are sure, like HRT comes in different forms basically. So there is patches, there's gel form, there is injections, there's pellets. So there's quite a lot of different forms, okay? And there's pills, obviously. So these ones, again, differs in, how much is the dose per patient. वो सब differ होता है depending on your symptoms. So there's also testosterone, supplements available as well. So, but you can't go on to better not to get it from online, over the counter, definitely not. You don't want to be playing with this hormone, so you have to consult a specialist in that area for sure.
Okay. So when the menopause have gone through, how does the female body changes? I mean, we'll talk about emotional, but how does the physical body changes?
So the physical body, obviously, the first feature you observe is on your face. So if you think about it, there's 30% collagen loss from your face during the time of menopause. It's like it's quite a big loss. So it shows up as sagging of the face. So you start to get suddenly so many wrinkles which you didn't have. And then the hair loss is one of the biggest factors that can even influence. So these are the main symptoms which you observe from your face. And the skin on the whole body as well becomes loose. It's dry, and then you always tend to put so much weight in the midline section. So that is without you realizing, up tak to mera, stomach was very flat, and suddenly you'll feel like, oh, okay, where is this fat coming from? Okay, and you have to double exercise just to get rid of that. But it doesn't help because you will pile on the weight, unfortunately. Yeah, that's all hormones which is doing it for you. And at the same time, if you had a osteoporosis in family, have to be careful. You have to try and see. Some people gain a lot of weight, some people lose a lot of weight as well. So exercise in this period and looking after yourself is so important. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I noticed with my IVF treatments, I did put on weight, and I'm not a big eater. I'm not a junk eater either. But even when I was going through the whole this 10-year menopause thing, I was still not trimmy. Even though I was walking, I walk every day. I play badminton and I eat very healthy. I love my salads, So लेकिन I used to always go to my GP and I used to tell him कि मेरा weight नहीं lose हो रहा यार, मैं खाती नहीं हूँ. I mean, I used to work for NHS, so I had a very informal relationship with my GP. So मैं खाती नहीं हूँ फिर भी यार मेरा. तो he used to say कि स्नेह जी आप जो करते जाए, आप देखना जब आपका menopause settle हो जाएगा, you will trim down. And it happened. It actually happened. Once my menopause actually settled, अपने आप ही I could see my clothes getting a bit looser and those. So yes, I can see those things. Some people gain, some people lose possibly.
But then
So
again,
emotionally, what happens with us? Tell me. I mean, I'll tell you what happened later on with my, but emotionally क्या होता है? हम लोग क्यों इतने वो बात पे वो irritate हो जाते हैं उस time पे? And men doesn't understand that.
sorry. So just you need to know, estrogen जो है female hormone है. It's like how testosterone drives a man, estrogen drives the female. So वो जब खत्म हो जाता है, the battery, you don't have a charging supply. That's how I can explain it to you. So जब charging नहीं होगा, if you want to function with a low charge, how are you going to function? Okay, so that's estrogen receptors are there all over the body for us, and we need that estrogen to perform any action for that matter. So that's where I would say, if that is going down to mood hai, obviously joint pains out there. And, if you're not looking well, and if you have stress and incontinence, when you cough or sneeze, sometimes you might leak urine as well. So they're also linked to menopause as well sometimes.
Right.
So this is where, emotionally it starts to affect the person. And also जब libido कम होता है, you don't have that kind of bonding with your husband because you don't feel the. So all of that has a bearing on the emotional aspect of this, So that's when a person feels like, there's a bit of depression, mood swings, and you want to kind of express it out. ये pain जो है, joint pains, you don't know how to express it. So that's where it comes out as, bursting on your husband or children sometimes. You just show it on the husband. Unfortunately, they are the sufferers. So, but yeah, they need to understand what's happening as well. So it's better to inform and educate the men as well.
Yeah. I mean, I, from personally, I have gone through now 4 years of my menopause. And, but I still feel when is my that date time, that 28 or 30 days cycle, I still feel something in my body which is the symptoms of my period, but I'm not getting a period. Is that common for people to have that?
It can, because as I told you, there's still some production of estrogen and the hormones and testosterone in your body. Okay, there'll be a little bit still. So it's not like the ovaries shut down completely. So वो जो reserves होते हैं उससे they do produce hormones on and off, and it depends on again what you eat is what your body eats. Okay, so that makes a lot of difference. So it's like if you go through an emotional period, just stress or anything like that, again there's still hormones produced in your body that gives you those, the effects which you're getting, which can happen every month as well.
So should ladies after that age, should they follow a certain kind of diet?
Like diet तो definitely important है, because protein जो है हम Indians are very very, we don't really consume a lot of proteins, especially if you're a vegetarian. Okay, so your body needs that amount of proteins and all the essential amino acids and vitamins to produce the hormones in your body. So if you're not getting that from your normal diet, obviously, it's the body is going to suffer. So it is better to focus on, your diet more, rich in proteins and multivitamins. So जो हमारे Indian diet में है, मगर if you're a vegetarian, it's gonna be difficult. Remember, it's not just proteins in one day. So 3 meals में जो है वो protein भी चाहिए. All the 3 meals, not just once in the morning and not just once in the evening. All 3 meals need to have the right amount of protein, carbohydrate, and fat as well. Because जो vitamins होते हैं, they get absorbed through fat as well. So you need to have a little bit of fat in your, in your diet.
A good fat, possibly. Avocado and virgin oil, olive oils, they're good fats.
They're good fats. So, and eggs are important as a part of your normal diet. And if you're a person who's a vegetarian, just try and see if you can soak your pulses and germinate the pulses, and then they will have essential amino acids as well. But sometimes it's very difficult to, because hum jo hai, we always concentrate as women on our children, on our husband, but whatever is left over, we eat. And jo hai usme, you don't get all the.
We have no me time. We have no me time as well. We, especially Indian Asian women, are guilty of having no me time. Of course.
Then what you है, you never should feel it's selfish, because it's not self-time. It's definitely not selfish.
No. There are a lot of nowadays companies are making collagen, right? It become a fad nowadays. Ki collagen tablets, collagen powder. Does they help, or they just marketing schemes for people to just lure them and say, have it, and then your skin will go back to before menopause.
It's not exactly true. But there's some collagen supplements which have been studied as well. So you need to go on to those ones which have had a good study behind it. I mean, I myself take collagen supplements. Okay, so it's something which has helped me for a long time. Magar jo, whatever you get over the counter, there must be a reason why they're over the counter. And some of them are, you have to go to a doctor to get them. So some of them are prescribed to you. So it's kind of not prescribed, but then you get it from a doctor after consultation with them. Okay. So it's not that what you drink a collagen, it gets absorbed into. ऐसा नहीं होता है. So it's almost like the collagen is produced when you have an injury to your body. So that is like, when you get a cut. So your body produces collagen to say, okay, we need to heal the body. Okay. So वो जो collagen होता है, that needs to mimic your body's collagen to be able to help you. So, and then you need MSM and vitamin C to kind of bind them together. So you need to study and you need to know what collagen type you're taking for them to be able to help you. I would say not everything helps you. So, but if you have some reviewed products and if you have something which is published on a whole journal, then I would say yes, there might be.
Right, right. No, I mean, because this, and then, and it's still common for ladies to feel. I guess now after talking to you, it looks like it's okay to feel गर्मी लग रही है 1 मिनट में, फिर ठंडी लग रही है, रात को सोते वक्त बहुत पैर ठंडे हैं, और जैसे ही आप बिस्तर में घुसते हो, घंटे बाद आपके पैर गर्म हो जाते, then you want to throw the door away, and the partner is like, so it is okay, don't feel bad about, यार पार्टनर को दूसरे कमरे में भेज दो सोने के लिए, ज़्यादा परेशानी है तो I
Respect.
mean,
Yeah. So they will go through, magar doctor to consult, you have to consult, a
yeah,
doctor, because that might be a sign of not just menopause, it might be lots of things happening in your body. After 40, your body is not the same. So
it's
because gut jo hota hai, it ages with you. So whatever you eat after the age of 30, basically, you're not going to absorb everything. So body jo hai, the age hota hai because you're not getting that. Even if you're eating a good diet, it's not getting absorbed because gut bhi age hota hai na. So isliye.
No, this has been really like, for me, educational, and I hope it is quite educational for the ladies, and the men, in fact, as well, who are partners who needs to know this, are listening to. What are you? What would you like to tell as your last point to all the your viewers, and what would you like to say to them?
I mean, what I would say is it's not attack. It's like, you shouldn't feel pressurized to come out with your symptoms. You have to talk it over. And it's one of the common symptoms which we all go through. Some people feel like, oh, I'm still just 40. And should I say this to my friend? Sometimes your friends can help you. Yes, yeah. But it's better to go and speak to a doctor who's got more knowledge rather than just speaking to a friend, because a friend might be taking a over-the-counter supplement without, and it might be working okay with her, but your body is different to your friend. So it's better you consult a specialist if you have any of these symptoms. Please don't try anything over the counter without informing, getting the proper suggestion from an approved specialist. And it's very, very common to have menopause and perimenopausal symptoms. And hum sare jate hai, and some people don't express it, some people do express it. And please come out with your symptoms and speak.
Dr. Soumaya, it has been eye-opening for me as well, who's gone through all that, and I'm sure it's going to be very beneficial to the people who are either going through or are going to go through this process. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us. Thank you. सनी साइड अप, ये आपका अपना चैनल है, प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब। और यहाँ हम बात करेंगे डिफरेंट मुद्दों के ऊपर, बात करेंगे जिस सोसाइटी जिन बातों पे बात नहीं करना चाहती है। यहाँ हम बात करेंगे अपने देश महान भारत की, हम यहाँ बात करेंगे अपने हिंदुइज़्म की। तो प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब कीजिए एंड बताइए कौन कौन से टॉपिक्स आप कवर करना चाहेंगे, एंड जो लोग इंटरव्यू चाहते हैं कि उनकी ली जाए, कॉन्टेक्ट मी एंड आई विल कॉन्टेक्ट यू बैक। Thank you. Namaste and lots of love.